Hello, everybody. I'm back, kind of. I decided to do a really quick, overview of things you should know before you start stretching your ears and information on plug material, what you should use on your ears, for lubrication's the best way to say it, right? And just overall care, okay? So number one, I apologize. I kind of ninja dropped that video and then have not been back to that video that I posted on my collection probably a year and a half ago or so. Sorry about that. I had gotten, I just didn't know that anybody actually viewed it. So when I went back and I was like, oh, it's got 2,000 views. Oh, there's a lot of comments. So I apologize for that. I normally am very I tell people stuff and I, try to help them. So apologies. There were some comments on there that were over a year old and I totally just replied to them today. My bad. So anyway, let's kind of get started. So I wanted to mainly talk about plug material, how you get started, what the process is, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so number one, when you first start out, the most important thing to do is to read about stretching your ears. The first thing you need to understand, and I talked about this in my last video, but this is a permanent modification to your body, okay? You can go, up to size, 12, and probably it'll shrink back to your normal earring size, but the chances of that are quite low, okay? It doesn't happen with everybody. Everybody's body is different. So you need to treat it as if it is a permanent body modification, because it is, just like a tattoo, just like a piercing. Oh, I can take a piercing out. Yeah, there's a scar there. Okay, the only one that you might be able to get away with is things that are inside your mouth or your septum, right? Because I have a stretched septum. So this will never go down in size, for instance, right? So you kind of have to know what you're getting yourself into before you get yourself into it. I highly suggest too, don't be like me. I started stretching when I was 12 or 13, and that was 22 to 23 years ago, a long time ago. So I want to preface this by saying that I've been stretching for a very long time. I have very good friends in the industry, meaning the piercing, body modification industry, tattoo artists, etc., and have been friends with them for years. Even though I am not in the industry myself, I chose a different path for myself along that line. So, but know what you're getting into, okay? Because there's a lot of things in life that you get really excited about when you're younger. And I hate to be the mom to say, no, step back for a minute, right? I think of my niece who wanted a tattoo so bad when she was 16. And now that she's 19, she's like, thank you for talking me out of it. I'm like, you're welcome. I told you when you were 20, we could get one together. But nope. She decided then she didn't want one. So know what you're getting yourself into. It is permanent. It's just like a tattoo, only you can't really, you can kind of remove it, right? You can get your ears sewn up, but that's it. Okay, so if you've decided that you are going to start this process, so you have talked yourself into it, you're like, I'm going to do this. It looks cool, super excited about it, blah, blah, blah. Know some things before going into it. One of the things I see on the subreddits, on the Facebook posts and stuff like that is they're like, I watched a video on TikTok and this person, decided that they were going to do it and they did this and that. And I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. You want to follow the best course around to make sure that your actions do not have consequences. There are risks with stretching your ears any way that you stretch them, okay? You can get blowouts. You can get tears in your ears. Your ears can tear in half. That has happened, okay? I literally just saw a post about that about 6 months ago. Girl had the same ear size as me. I think it was her toddler pulled on her ear. That was it. She's just got 2 hanging pieces, and I think she got them fixed up by now or something, but just so you know. So first step, choosing a good material to start with, okay? Places like Hot Topic, Spencer's, all those places, don't go there, okay? I cannot stress that enough, and this is coming from someone who used to work at Hot Topic. I didn't wear their stuff. I do not suggest that you do either, okay? Most of it is acrylic. It's cheap glass. It's made poorly. It's made in China. It's, not the greatest. Not everything that's made in China is bad. I'm not going to say that. But I'm just saying that it's probably not the greatest choice, okay, to start off with. Same thing as when you're going off Amazon. You're like, oh, it's cheap. I'm just going to grab it. No. Please don't, okay? It's not good for your ears most of the time. It's, made poorly. It has not the greatest materials in it. It's not milled properly. It's just not the greatest thing. So, first step. Obviously, mine are going to be bigger than what you are going to talk about, okay? But they come in your size, and that's why I'm going to talk about them. Okay, so for instance, right here, these are Pyrex eyelets from Glassware Studios. They are highly known within the business to have some of the best glass plugs, basically, or jewelry in general, outside of Gorilla Glass, who also does really good glass as well. They specialize in this, which is another reason why I always say, go to someone who specializes in something, because they're going to be better at it than a place that specializes or sources stuff from the same place that Amazon does. Okay, so I'll link these below so you can see. You can get them off bodyartforms.com, and you can also get them just at glasswarestudios.com. They do sell non-wholesale, so you can purchase things. So these are a size 40 millimeter, because I had decided that I was going to start stretching my ears up. Why? I have no idea. It didn't really work out. My ears were giving me a hard time, so I didn't do it. So this is what you want to start stretching. You can either get a single flare, okay, or you can get a no flare choice. I do not suggest a double flare, because a double flare is going to have 2 saddles on it, as you can see from this pair of plugs here. And you're not going to be able to get that in your ear when you're stretching at first, okay? So you, especially in smaller sizes, stick to a single flare or a no flare. It's going to be better for you, just trust me. Do not stretch with silicone, okay? Glass dead stretching is the safest way to do it. If you have questions about that, I'll link a guide in the comments below that is from Reddit, from the Stretch Reddit, where I do frequent. And it's very thorough and explains everything. So you want to kind of go with that, okay? Versus do not stretch with silicone, okay? I have some silicone ear skins here. A lot of people are like, I stretch with silicone and I had no problem. Okay, great. That's good for you. But I've watched a girl, okay, come in one time to a piercing studio that I used to go into all the time and just kind of hang out. And I had friends there and whatever. And I was getting a tattoo. And her ear had fused, okay, the skin in her ear had fused to the inside wearable portion of the silicone plug, and it needed to be removed, and she had to go to the hospital. And she lost the inside portion of a lot of her ear. Don't stretch with silicone. It is not a good idea, okay? Just don't. Everyone's like, oh, I got away with it, and it's fine. Okay, good. I'm glad you got away with it, and I'm glad your ears are fine. Do not promote that to people in general, because they will go out and do that, and then they will end up hurting themselves. And as a member of the modified community, you need to be responsible. And as an elder, okay, of the modified community, you need to be responsible for what you're saying to people. So I'm going to put that there. That's my soapbox, but I cannot stand when people say that shit. It is so bad for human beings in general. Okay, so this is what you want to start out with. Glass. Easy, normally pretty cheap, good to use, just the easiest thing you can use. And it's light too, so it's not going to cause any issues with weight in your ear and stuff like that. All right, you've graduated. Oh, also, before you graduate, also stainless steel plugs, also you can utilize as well. They are a little more expensive, so I highly suggest the glass, okay? Some people do react to stainless steel if it's not made a certain way, or has like nickel in it and things like that. And some of the cheaper brands do put that shit in there, and then it ends up messing your ears up and you have an allergic reaction. So these are from Industrial Strength. They are the highest like quality that you can get. They are expensive. Okay. You can get the cheaper ones and try them out, and take a chance. It's fine. I don't suggest to do it. I suggest glass instead, because you have a lower level risk. And when you're stretching up, you're not going to be getting a bunch of different plugs anyway. You're just going to kind of stick to one set. So I suggest the glass sets. The good thing about this though is that if they do fall, they don't break. I have broken quite a few of these just by oopsies. They fall in the sink, they break, etc. So that is what I would suggest for stretching, at least when you start. Now you graduated and you've gotten to your goal size. Great. Now, what do I purchase? What do I want to wear? Where are some safe websites to purchase jewelry at? I'm going to link some below. Okay. The places that I personally choose to frequent and that I enjoy to use. Okay. Some people get a little bit worried about certain places because they're like, oh, I'm not really sure. But I tell you, there are some really good places. Okay. There was a comment in my last video where someone asked, like, can you link like a few pairs of plugs? And I think they were this pair. I can't. These were custom made for me, so I can't. I told them where you can find the custom plug maker, and maybe they can make you something that is similar, but these are organic. You can't get the same ones. So what kind of material can you get besides glass and stainless steel? Well, there's quite a bit. You can get silicone. Okay. It is going to be a little bit on the cheaper side in some aspects. I only can wear Chaos software, and I can only wear it for a few hours. I actually get really bad. I'm not sure what happens, but my ears just get irritated and kind of itchy. So I can only wear them for a few hours, and I only wear them when I put hangers in my ears. So that's what these are. You can get stone plugs. Okay. These are white jade plugs from Diablo Organics. Okay. So Diablo Organics is a little bit on the cheaper side, but they do make some beautiful plugs. These are Mayan eyelets, which means it has a thicker ring around it. As you can see here, right? It's a little bit of a thicker ring around it. Instead of a regular eyelet, which is very thin, such as this one here, right? So it's a little bit different. A Mayan eyelet, if you will. But these white jade ones I also have in black onyx, and they are honestly some of my favorite plugs to wear. Very, very, I work at a corporate job, so when I do put them in, they look a little bit better, right? So I tend to wear them more often. Okay, now, other types of glass. So those are Pyrex borosilicate. I think I've shown these plugs off before. But these were also a custom pair from Gorilla Glass. You can get a dichoric, which is similar to this, but it won't be the same colors. As you can see, they kind of shine differently depending on how I move them. In the sunlight, gorgeous. And you can wear them two different ways. So you can wear them like this, or you can wear them like this. And it's two different color palettes. So I love these plugs. They don't make them as much anymore because there are a lot of bubbles and inclusions of air, which they do not like to basically sell because they find it to be an imperfection, and I find it to be beautiful. So for me, these are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. I have two different pairs of trichorics, and they're some of my favorite plugs that I own. And I'm so happy because they were custom made for me because they don't make them anymore. And they were like, we love you. Then there are different other types of stone plugs. So like these ones, and these are geodes. It's like an agate. Okay. And these will run you quite a bit of money in my size. So I can only speak to my size. When you are in the smaller sizes, things are going to be cheaper because there's less material to work with. But like these ones, I believe were around 300. Okay, so those are pretty high. These ones were, again, custom made and shipped. So these were around 250. These are, again, on the cheaper end. So these with a discount, I believe I got them for like 60 bucks. Not bad. I wear them quite a bit. Wood plugs. Okay. These are a Chechnyan wood plug from America. Oh, America. Okay, not America with an A. America with an O. America Organics. The best, in my opinion, wood plugs that you can get under 1.5 inches or to 1.5 inches. When you start to get past that, they do customs, but they don't do them often because, again, there's only so much you can order for. And a lot of people have smaller plugs, so they tend to cater to that size more. So there's different designs. So I love these designs. They're just like a target. And these are super comfortable to wear. You should only wear these if you have fully healed lobes, meaning that you have been stretching and you got your goal size and you are past your goal size by at least 4 to 6 months. And the reason why, it is a very porous material. So when you put it in your ear, if your ear is not healed properly, it can fuse to your ear. So please only wear them. Now, there are different types of wood that are safe, and there are different types of wood that are super cheap that places sell that are not the greatest quality. Highly suggest America Organics. There's another one too. That's really good. There's some Etsy shops as well that do really good stuff. I'll link a few below of the ones that I've purchased from in the past and that I like. I prefer custom builds, stuff like that, because it's just, for me, it's worth the money then. There is a fly in here. Excuse you, sir. You need to get out of here. All right. Brass. So these are, gosh darn it. These are a white brass from Oracle. These are called saddles. They just sit in your ear. Okay, actually, I will show you. Let's see, popped out. These are also, by the way, Glassware Studios. They are called a fade plug. I love those. All right, so you just pop these in. And they just sit there in your ear like that. And I do wear these quite often. And they are very, very comfortable. So I do like to wear them. Let's pop this bad boy back in. There we go. Easy enough. All right. So that's the main types of plugs that I own. I do not own acrylic, okay, or plastic. I don't own resin plugs. I don't own anything like that. I'm not putting plastic in my body. There's enough plastic and microplastics probably already in my body from the food that I eat that I do not need that, okay? So if you want something because it looks cool or whatever, just remember that acrylic, resin, things like that are not meant to be worn long term, because your body is warm, okay? And when you have stuff that's sitting in your, like when I feel my plugs right now, they are warm because my body is heating them up. You do not want plastic sitting in your body and heating up over time. It's not the greatest thing for you. And again, I'm not a doctor, but it's well known that that's probably not the best bet. Okay, so highly suggest that you don't do that. Now, what kind of shapes can you get? You can get all kinds of shapes of plugs. I obviously prefer the circles, but I also have teardrop size. These are a graveyard plume agate made by Red Fern Adornments out of Portland. Absolutely love this custom plug maker. He has made quite a few for me. These are ones, and then of course my geodes are also one as well. I will link him below. He makes amazing things. So these are like a teardrop that he made for me. I do not prefer the ones that are longer on the top, so he makes them this size. Love it, love it, love it. And this is a beautiful, gorgeous plug. I wonder if I can do this. There we go. See? Flippin' beautiful. So I love those plugs. So those are kind of like the two main shapes. You can get coffin plugs, you can get heart plugs, you can get stuff like that. Not suggested to wear them again for a long period of time. And here's why. You put them in your ears, they're sitting in your ears, there's pointed ends to them, and they are just digging into the sides of your soft skin and fistula, the inside of your ear. And it can cause denting, it can cause thin spots. Not a good idea. If you're wearing them out for a night, who cares? Just take them out when you get home. Don't sleep in them for the love of God, okay? Now, next, hangers too. All right, so I have quite a few hangers. These are brass. These are from Dendrite Labs. I do not know if he still has a storefront anymore because I believe he was having some health issues, but these were ones that my significant other got me, actually. They are beautiful when they are in. Absolutely gorgeous. Pay attention to the wearable area. These will obviously work for someone who has smaller ears, but I do have some that only work if you have larger ears. So you need to be mindful of that. Look at what they call the wearable area for them. Okay, so that's those. Now let's talk about sizing. So sizing is another portion that I could go into for a whole long time, but I'm not going to. But what I am going to explain is that sizing can be different, and this is obviously, there's reasons why. So here's a pair of 2-inch plugs. Now, I had decided, smartly, that I was going to stretch up and leave my collection behind and kind of sell off a bunch of them, which I did sell off a few of them, but I didn't sell all of them because, again, it's hard to sell plugs in a larger size. There's not as many people that have them, and the ones that do have a good collection as it is. So I got these made from Red Fern Adornments as well. I obviously will not be able to wear them because I could not reach past 42 millimeters, and these are 51. So that's that. So when you want to look at a size difference, though, this is 38 millimeter, this is 51. You can see how much larger this plug is than this one. So keep that in mind. It's going to look like it's huge, but your ear will stretch over time. Okay. Now let's talk about care. A lot of people are always like, what do I use to wash my ears? What? You take your plugs out, you get in the shower. And if you're showering every day, that's a great thing. If you're not, hey, it's whatever. But wash your body, okay? And when you wash your body, give your ears a little rub. If you're shampooing your hair, shampoo will run down, rub a little bit. That's it. Nothing crazy. You don't need anything special. But if you do want to use something, I would suggest like a fragrance-free foam, something like that if you want. For me, showering has always just worked. And it's just a real quick thing. Just use a little bit of body wash. Obviously, it has fragrance in it most of the time that I use. And I just use that on my ears real quick, and that's about it. Okay? But I've never really had to super clean my ears, except when I was wearing silicone and acrylic a lot. So once you start wearing better types of plugs and better quality, you won't have to wash your ears as much versus you just kind of let them sit out. Now, moisturizing your ears. Very important. Massage your lobes. Massage your lobes once or twice a day. Okay. I normally do once a day. And then sometimes I'll do twice a day if I'm sitting in the bath or whatever and I just feel like it. But the types of oils you want to use are very important. So again, I'm going to point out, please be careful what you purchase online and especially from Amazon. I see a lot of people who are like, who post in the Stretch Reddit and they're like, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? And it has like 15 ingredients. And I'm like, no, you don't need that. And they're charging you for potentially a little bit of jojoba oil in that jojoba oil and a bunch of different other things. And it's got like tea tree oil and all this stuff that can be actually irritating to your ears. It has fragrance, irritating to your ears potentially, right? Especially if you're going to leave it on there. You know, I say that you can use soap and body wash and whatever, but that's because you're washing it off right away. It doesn't really matter that much if you have a little bit of fragrance. But if you're leaving it on your ears, you don't want to do that. So I use two, and again, I'll link them below as well. Well, I don't want to link this one because this one's just easy. A jojoba oil. This is from Trader Joe's. Okay. Nothing special. 4 fluid ounces. It's a gentle oil. And it is pure jojoba seed oil. That's it. Nothing else. You don't need anything else. Just jojoba oil is fine. Now, that is for the moisturization of your ears, okay? Now, I like to use something extra because my ears are very dry. It's really funny. My face is extremely oily, but my ears are very dry. So I also use emu oil, okay? And this is fully refined emu oil from Desert Palms Emu Ranch in Arizona. I'm going to link this below. You want to be mindful, okay, of how much you use. So you just use a little bit. Now this is, again, it's not vegan. It's emu oil. It's made from the fat of emus. I do not know how they make it. I really don't want to know, but I'm assuming it's based on food grade stuff. So like they're slaughtering emus, you know, and it's very negative to say that, but that's what's happening. And then they are using all parts of the animal, which I do agree with. I do agree with if you're going to use animals, use all parts of them and respect the animal if you are using it for something. So this is what this is. Now I purchased like a big bottle and then I actually mix it with my jojoba oil. I just go doot doot and then I put it on my ears and I rub it in and I let my ears sit. And that's it. And then I'll put in plugs afterwards. So highly suggested. When I was just using the jojoba, I was not getting enough moisturization in my ears. I needed something that was actually going to actually moisturize, right? So this works. You can also use shea butter. That's fine as well. Just make sure it's 100% shea butter with no fragrance. Throw it in there. No big deal. There's a lot of websites like that sell like holy butter and all this stuff. And they upcharge for it like crazy because you'll get like a little tin that is literally the size of this. Okay. And it'll be like $15. I'm like, that is ridiculous. This whole thing lasts me months. It is $7. This one is more expensive, but it lasts me for, this is probably a year old and I've only used about that much. You don't use a lot. A lot of people go through that holy butter so fast because it's just in a little tin. It is not worth the money. Save your money. Get the stuff that's just on the websites and stay away from Amazon. I cannot share that enough, okay? Because Again, you don't know what you're getting in that oil, and they can say anything, but it's a lot easier just to get one that you can buy at the store. If you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, Whole Foods has them. You can find them on Amazon. I just don't trust Amazon. I've gotten burned way too many times purchasing things from Amazon, and then it comes and it's either a fake item or it's not the same thing. Like, I remember I bought like lavender oil one time and I got it and I was like, oh my God, this isn't even lavender. What is this? This doesn't smell like lavender. And then I looked at it and like it had all these additives. I was like, what is this? I just wanted essential oil. I didn't need an entire fragrance. I have enough of that. So that is the main things to get started. Okay. So you're looking at costing, anywhere from $15 for these, right? Especially if you get a smaller bottle of the emo oil, it'll be better. Or you can get shea butter. Like I said, they sell it all over the place that you can get without fragrance. And then these will run you, $15, $20 for smaller sizes. These are obviously much more expensive, but know that when you're getting into this, it is not a cheap situation. Okay. When you start stretching your ears and stuff like that, it's not meant to be cheap. It's meant to be, again, I've talked about this before in my last video. It's a journey. It's something that you have chosen for yourself to be part of you and part of how you perceive yourself and how the world perceives you and things like that. And I think that that's really, really important to understand, is that this isn't for everybody. And that's okay. That's fine. It's not meant to be for everybody. It's meant to be for you and what you would like to do with your life and how you want to look and how you want to feel in your own skin is very important. And before anybody also jumps off the edge and is like, you will never get a job. I am in corporate, okay? I work at a corporate job for a multi-billion-dollar telecommunications company. Before that, I worked for a Fortune 500 e-commerce company. And I am well over the amount of what you would call, I guess, middle-class successful, right? And I look the way I do. As long as you have a skill set, as long as you are working your way towards something and you are making proper choices for yourself, you will find your own way in life as well. It doesn't have to be the way that it's always been, where it's like, oh, well, they look stupid because they have tattoos or whatever. I got a tattoo on my hand. I got tattoos on my chest all the way around. I got tattoos on my back, legs, feet, everywhere. All over. Doesn't matter. Piercings all over my face. Doesn't matter. Work your ass off. Do your best at your job. That's all that matters. And keep working towards a skill set that will be very important for you. Okay. Again, off my soapbox, not trying to be whatever, but yeah, definitely check out some of the links below. I'm not getting any commission, by the way. I'm just posting them for everybody to see. I like to help out people and make sure that they get the best that they can. And if, they ask if anybody refers you, you can say me. My name's AJ. They know who I am on Instagram. At least some of them do. So I highly appreciate you all. I hope you all have a great day. I'm done talking. I'm going to go relax. All right. Bye-bye.